What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and some good news coming out of the Square Enix camp, especially if you're a Nintendo Switch owner. So we all know that Square Enix are re-releasing, or releasing if you will, a Secret of Mana 3D remake on February 15th in 2018. It's coming to PS4, to PS Vita, I know, right, Vita, and it's coming to Steam. Kind of obvious that there's no Xbox One version, but some people were a bit curious about the absence of a Switch version. Now, it's been explained about the Switch version before, as it is already, but real quick, I'm just going to go over the new info that was given today in an interview. So the game's producer, Masaru Oyamada, who's also the producer, obviously, for the Secret of Mana remake, but also the Seiken Densetsu Collection on Switch, which is something we'll get to now in a minute. But here's what he had to say about the Secret of Mana remake potentially making its way to the Nintendo Switch. To kind of give background in terms of when the project started, it was about 2 years ago, and the Switch hadn't even been announced. Once we had announced this particular remake title, we were very surprised to see the amount of demand and feedback we received for a potential Switch version. So the voices are heard. We're aware that people are desiring a Switch version, and we will make an effort to see what is feasible in the future, though nothing is confirmed or planned. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, let's look at it this way. If the game can run on a Vita, the game can run on a Switch. Sure, the Switch isn't the most powerful thing in the world, but at the same time, this Secret of Mana remake is nowhere in any way, shape or form graphically intensive whatsoever, so it could easily run on a Switch. I can understand why many people would expect to see it on a Switch too, because Secret of Mana, the greatest game of all time mind you, originally launched, and technically, I suppose you could say only launched, on the Super Nintendo back in the day. So he's definitely aware that there's a huge demand for the Secret of Mana remake on Nintendo Switch. Now here is the main part of the video, the bit I want to talk about for obvious reasons. By the way, quick self-plug. Come February 15th, when the Secret of Mana remake releases, be sure to check out the entire livestream playthrough I do starting on the 15th of February here on the channel, so be sure to check that out. Anyway, moving along. So, last year in 2017, Square Enix released exclusively in Japan on Nintendo Switch the Seiken Densetsu Collection, which is a trilogy of games. You could essentially call it the Mana trilogy, if you will, but it's arguably the Game Boy prequel to Secret of Mana, commonly known as Final Fantasy Adventure. It also includes Secret of Mana and Seiken Densetsu 3, which is Secret of Mana 2. Again, many people will know out there who've probably played to death with all the fan-translated ROMs. Absolutely amazing game, by the way. The big downside is that Seiken Densetsu 3 never actually got a localized release anywhere in the world, even back in the day. It was only officially ever released in Japan, which is why, for now, the Seiken Densetsu Collection is Japanese only, and obviously all the games in it are Japanese. But, since the announcement of that collection, early last year, there's been a massive fan outcry for a localized version of the collection, of the trilogy, in the West, in America, and in Europe. Me, myself, I'm definitely one of those. I've made multiple videos about how we need to get this translated and released here in Europe, and wherever, you know, America, whatever, it's all the same. But interestingly enough, here's what he had to say about the huge fan outcry for a localized version. Obviously, our focus is on Secret of Mana, since we're in the last part of its development. So obviously it's hard to definitely say that yes, we will release it. But we've obviously heard a lot of demands and requests for that game to be released in the West. And that's something we will do our best to hopefully achieve. But nothing at this moment in time. Now, you could always say that that's just the PR speak. Because let's face it, companies never say no. They always give useless bullshit PR answers. They say, nothing at this time, currently no plans, etc, etc. Which is one thing he actually said in this. But it is slightly backed up by some positive stuff. I mean, when you look at it, it says, and that's something we will do our best to hopefully achieve. That's something that's usually not said in the usual PR bullshit statements by companies when they just say, we have nothing planned at this time. We have nothing to announce at this time. There are no projects at the work at this time. Now, it could just be me being really hyped because I absolutely need that collection in English. Secret of Mana, as I said, is the best game ever made. Is my personal favorite game of all time, which will never change. And Seiken Densetsu 3 is also one of the best games ever made. I have the Japanese Switch collection. I even have a boxed Japanese cart of Seiken Densetsu 3. And I've even gone far enough to get a reproduction cart of the English fan-translated ROM version of Seiken Densetsu 3. Not to mention the billions of times I've played it and finished it on emulators. So I'm remaining positive when it comes to this. I am being nice and wildly optimistic when it comes to this, which is usually not like me at all, really, is it? But anyway, let me know in the comments section below how you feel about this. Do you think it's their usual PR speak? Do you think we honestly might actually see it? Even if it's only a digital release, that's fine. Obviously a boxed physical release would be better, but hell, anything to get the game. Have you played Secret of Mana 2 or Seiken Densetsu 3? Same thing. What's the deal? Let me know all of that in the comments section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.